everyone, it's Allison. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be playing with the Spellbinders Large Die of the Month for December 23, and this is a really fun kit. Here is the card we're going to be making, and as you can see I made it into a Christmas card, although this set is great for so many occasions. New Year's, obviously, birthdays, anniversaries, you name it. So it is called Cheers to Us. Like I said, it would be a great anniversary card. And here are the pieces. You have a bottle that can either be made into a champagne bottle or a wine bottle, and there's all these labels and corks and things for it. And then you have two kinds of glasses. One is a wine glass, one is a champagne glass, and all the dies to add details to those glasses. So here are the pieces that I am going to be using. I have already cut some paper with these dies, and I am making a wine bottle for my card and a wine glass, just one. And I'm going to make some red wine. And I just think this set is so much fun. I already have so many ideas in my head for what to do next. All right, so I'm going to ink blend all of my die cuts. And for the wine bottle, I'm using PinkFresh Olive as my first color. And what I'm trying to do is just create a glow in the center of this bottle. So once I'm done with that first color, I'll move to my darker color, which is PinkFresh Evergreen. And I'm just going to get the top of that bottle, all of it, just dark. So I'm just going to work my way around the bottle. And obviously I started with a light green, pretty bright shade of cardstock. And I think it's already looking like a wine bottle. All right, for the wine, I'm just going to shade kind of the bottom and the sides. I'm using Gina K Cherry Red to do this. And I'm using a Shader 1 Plus brush from Waffle Flower. And when I'm done with this, I'm just going to put it aside to dry. I will come back later to shade it some more. All right, here's the label that comes with the die set, but I want to stamp on my label. So I'm going to use this other die from the set. This die actually has some words that go with it, but I want to create my own kind of larger die. So I've cut a piece of white cardstock from the bottle. You can see it's in the shape of the bottle. I just didn't need to cut a full bottle. And I'm lining the top of this die on the bottle where I want the top of this label to be. And now I'm going to do some partial die cutting. So I'm going to take my top plate and I'm only going to cover the top part of that die. So what I'm trying to do is just cut the top part of the label right now. So I'll just run that through and you can see whatever was under that top plate is the only part that cut. So now I need to figure out how big I need my label. This is the stamp set I'm going to be using, the Bold Tidings Mini from Holtz. And I've been wanting to use this stamp set all season long, and I'm glad I'm finally using it. So I'm going to be using the Making Spirits Bright, which I thought was very fitting for the wine bottle. So now I can just figure out how big to make the label, and I'm positioning this die at the best spot. And again, I'm going to be doing some partial cutting. So now we're just going to cut the bottom part. All right, so I'm going to, again, line up my top plate over the part that I want to cut. And anything that's not under that top plate will not cut. So let's see what we got. All right, there is the label we created. I do this a lot. If I want to stamp a sentiment and I don't have the right size label or die for it, I just make my own by doing partial die cutting. So now I have my stamp in my Mini Misty, and that little piece of the little label I had to just tape down. And now I have this little carrier sheet from one of my Waffle Flower grip mats that I placed over it. I'm going to use that to test out my stamping. So it's basically acetate that I'm stamping onto, and then I can make sure that before I stamp onto my label that it's lined up correctly. So after a few little adjustments in my stamp, I'm pretty happy with the way it looks now. So now we can stamp on the actual label. I like the carrier sheets from Waffle Flower to stamp on. They're a little bit thicker than the acetate that would be from like a stamp set. I find that if it's really thin acetate, even if you hold it down with a magnet, it really doesn't hold in there. All right, so I had mentioned I was going to come back and shade this wine a little bit more. So I have some Black Soot Distress ink, and I'm just adding a little bit more shading. And while I have the black ink out, I'm just going to add a little bit more shading to the bottom of the wine bottle, because I feel like that's where the wine bottle would be the darkest. All right, so I wanted to add something fun to my wine glass. So I have these reindeer antlers. This is from the Santa's Festive Circle Cruise set. These are those fun ornaments that came out a couple months ago. You can make reindeer ornaments, snowman ornaments, penguin ornaments. I mean, so many fun things. And I'm using one of my Shader 2 Plus brushes from Waffle Flower just to add some shading to the antlers. And now I'm taking some light blue ink and adding a little bit of shading to the wine glass and some of the elements to the wine glass. Now I will come in later and add a little bit more shading to this wine glass. So for now we can assemble. I'm just gluing the wine onto the glass and then this little piece on top of the wine to make it, that's what kind of gives it the illusion of 3D, and the same with the top of the glass. So again, it adds dimension, these little pieces. For the wine bottle, I'm gluing it on top of another one just to give it make it a little bit more stable. And now this piece I had cut out of some red foil paper. You can't really see it in the final picture, but it's pretty cool looking in real life. So the top of the wine bottle, I'm just going to snip it off. I want the top of the bottle to overlap a little bit, and I'm even putting a little thin piece of foam tape right there just to lift this piece up a little bit and make it look more pronounced. All right, so for the cork, I am shading the bottom part of the cork a dark brown. And now I can attach the two pieces of the cork and then attach the entire cork to the wine bottle. And here goes the label. I am loving this label. Now to attach the antlers, I'm just putting glue at the very bottom and attaching it to the glass. And I think the red wine in the glass kind of makes it look like a Rudolph nose. I don't know. Now I have a piece of blue cardstock, and I'm coming with Seaside PinkFresh ink. And now I'm coming in with a second color. This is PinkFresh Storm. And again, I'm just going around the edges, kind of like I did with the wine bottle, and creating that glow in the center. This is my third color. This is PinkFresh Stargazer. And all right, so now I'm coming in with that lightest color, which is Seaside. And I wanted to make the shading on the glass a little bit darker. And I even cut another piece of the top detail of the wine in a lighter color. I think it looks a little bit better. It stands out a little bit more. All right, so here I've trimmed down my panel and I actually re-inked the edges. You can see I even added some black soot around the edges. I decided I didn't need my panel to be so large. So now I'm coming in with a couple shades of dark blue distress ink, and I even came in with some black, mixed that in, and I'm just creating some splatters. And I didn't film it, but I also splattered some white watered down paint as well. And I'm ready to assemble the card now, and I'm just adding some very thin foam tape to part of the antlers just to keep them raised a little bit, and it's just going to create a little bit of dimension. All right, let's decorate the wine bottle. We're going to use the More Holiday Decorations die set. And I have these little strands for the Christmas lights. Now, I think this die set is amazing on its own. You can make so many different cards with just this die kit. But I like doing things differently with my club kits, and I think that bringing in die sets from your own stash is a great thing to do to elevate your club kits. So again, I wanted to make a Christmas card, and I think these lights make it so festive looking. So here you can just see I'm trying to figure out where to put the strands so that my lights will fit and not hang off the bottom of the bottle. And I will ultimately, well, and here you see me just clipping off the sides of those strands that were hanging over. I've attached some foam tape to the back of the bottle, and now I can attach it to the panel. You see I've also added a few more Christmas lights as well. So now I'm just adding a little bit more detail to the card. These little I'm going to call them stars. This is a die that's part of the set. You see it off to the right. To the right of my arm, you can see the actual die. Now I'm coming in with a white gel pen, and I don't know, I'm adding white and even some black dots to the wine. And now I'm adding a little bit more detail. This set, you might recognize, it's Mr. Figgy Pudding, one of my favorite sets from this season. And I just took the holly and berries from that die set to add to the wine glass. And I have this tiny little sliver of foam square that I'm going to add the last berry onto. That'll create a little bit of dimension. And finally, I added some clear dewdrops. Now, this is red wine. It's not sparkling wine. I don't know why I added bubbles, but I think it's fun looking. There is my final card. I think it's so fun, and I had fun making it, and that's the most important part, right? I hope it puts a smile on your face. I know I haven't put out a video in a while, so welcome back to everybody who has been with me before this. And if you're new, I hope you stay tuned. I'm hoping to get back to my regular pace of 1 or 2 videos a week. Thanks again for visiting. Give me a thumbs up, and I hope you subscribe. Bye-bye.